Hello and welcome to the Tarka Zone. Thank you for joining me. Here we're playing the game Diablo 4 and we're just buttoning up the server slam. The actual servers, I believe, stop running in about 2 hours, and then they're going to have all the data that they need to make sure this game goes smoothly, and hopefully to make sure the game goes smoothly when it launches on 6/6, which is not that far away. I'm going to hit the start button here and go into the system. Now, during the server slam, there seemed to be no queue times. I think they just let everyone in to see what the servers could handle. The only big issue that I found with the game, and it was only around the world boss. I fought the world boss a few times if you've been following my channel, and you'll find that in those videos I had some serious lag issues when it came to fighting the world boss. And outside of that, I found zero lag issues over the last, I would say, 14, 15 hours. Yesterday, or I would say Friday, I did die a few times. Two lag concerns on Friday when I was fighting dungeon bosses. I had died like 3 times during that window of time. By the time I got to 20th level, I had died like 3 times. And it was based on just fighting in a dungeon boss, lag. On Saturday, not so much lag. The only time I experienced lag was with the world boss. And there's a lot going on. If you go watch the videos that I posted, there's a lot going on the screen. There's a AoEs going off. You got people doing their thing. You got all these people running around. So yeah, there was definitely some lag going on during the boss fight. But outside of that, it was fine. They retweaked a couple things in the game. I don't know, good or bad. I know for me, the iron skin, I call it the shield, because that's what it does. It puts a barrier up that helps me absorb damage and gives me some life back. And I know that in previous betas, this worked differently, because when I would enter combat, or if I did any offensive action like a shout or attacked, I was able to use this ability. They changed it so that I have to take damage first. I have to actually take some sort of damage. And that's kind of hard when you're playing against a world boss, when you're trying to use it as a way to survive a one-hit shot world boss, or a boss that does a crap load of damage. So when I was fighting the world boss, I would actually walk into the acid pools that was dropping down just so I was able to use this ability. I don't know if I like that change, but let's just look at my build here. I guess let's first look at the build. We can look at my inventory. I mean, it doesn't really matter. All this is going to be deleted. But I got some pretty uber things while I was playing the game. My attack power is only 355. My armor is 1400 and my life is 376. I was building a support tank. That's what my whole builds have been from the first beta alpha to this server slam. And I did well, you know, the normal stuff that most tanks are doing. They went with the flay. Then, well, I only have to, because when you highlight the prime ability, the core ability here, it's going to tell me what the modifier is. These are the modifiers. You know, we spend points on these modifiers, but you can just read it here. What I was trying to get is you have to spend 3 points in this thing so that you can get the damage reduction. The enemy, you direct damage to any enemy, you gain 3% damage reduction in 32 thorns for 3 seconds. This stacks up to 4 times. That's, you know, seems to be what you would want if you're tanking. Maybe in the future you'll be able to get your damage mitigated in a different way, and then you could take a different ability. But I only took that there. You know, we only could get to 20th level during this thing, right? Whirlwind for me is really nice, especially when I'm just trying to mop up mobs. But I also find that it's an easy way to go around the world boss. I was finding myself that, you know, if you try, well, Whirlwind, you move at a different rate, you know, a faster speed. So I was able to maneuver around and get behind the world boss by just whirlwinding around him. and I was doing it at a faster rate as if I was to try to dodge or run around him. So that's why I like it, is and it's doing damage. So I'm whirlwinding around the boss, and he's trying to square up with me, and I'm continuously trying to get behind him, and I use whirlwind to do it. It's very powerful. I really enjoy using it. All right, so going down to the next node, here is where I picked up the iron skin. And again, I just explained to you what that was about, how this works. I definitely would want to put maximum points into this in the future. It's just, I guess if you're just doing like weenie dungeons, not uber world bosses, this is going to work just fine for you. But while it's up, it heals me for 10% of the barrier's original amount of health per second. And that is spending your points in you gotta put 3 points into this thing. Now the challenging shout is what makes me a tank. You gotta have this for tanking, so you're calling mobs to you, and it works very well. When I was playing with my friend yesterday, we were doing some dungeon runs that he wanted to do. It was really nice because he was playing a necromancer, so I just call him to me, and he was just blowing up stuff, and it worked really well. And I was a meat shield. That's all my job was. So he was doing the uber DPS, and I was just calling him to me, and these mobs were pounding on me, and it was just like just drawing them to one location. And I got to get better at, with a necromancer, I got to stop moving around, because what he wants those bodies to drop in one location, and I'm whirlwinding and dragging the mobs everywhere. So I just got to work better with a necromancer. This one, when you use the shout, you gain 20% maximum life. That's the modifier I put on this. Now there's two more that I have access to. I have access to one of these. You only can choose one of the two. Where you gain, when challenging shout is active, you gain 3 fury each time you take damage. I would have liked to have taken that, but again, they only let you take 20. You only got 20 points because you only got 20 levels during this beta. And then when I got into here, I definitely like Warcry, and as you can see, I got 3 points in Warcry, berserking for 4 seconds, and the Warcry grants you 15% base life. So it's all about getting life back. Then I did this. I put 6 points into this. I'm not really sure how powerful this is. Your shout skills effect durations are increased by 24%. So anytime I use a shout, they last longer. And then the next one is your shouts also heal allies for 3% of their maximum life per second. So what I'm hoping to do is be a tank healer kind of thing, but I don't know if these are wasted points or not. I was running with the necromancer. I don't know if it was helping him or not, getting life back as we went. I really don't know. I mean, because potions are readily available. I really don't know if this is going to be what I'm going to buy into when I do my core build. I know this one's nice. Your shouts cause enemies to deal 4% less damage for 5 seconds. So this one, I could put 3 points into this one, and that's damage reduction. So that might be what I'll go with, because that's more damage reduction, mitigation from the damage. The next one, this leap here that you see here, I get that from a actual item that's in my inventory that I have on me, because items can have abilities on them. So I was using the leap. That's kind of tricky to use. You got to really be Johnny on the spot and aiming that thing. I'm not Johnny on the spot when it comes to playing these games, so I wasn't good at aiming. This here, Rapture, is another. This is what I got. I got an item in my inventory that gives me that. Now, moving forward, I would want to get into thick skin. I obviously want to get into a defensive stance if I want to be a tank. Obviously, I want to get into Berserk, but I couldn't get into Berserk because there's just not enough points to do it. So this is what the build was for this weekend, and it worked really well. I didn't die all that much. I was like the Energizer Bunny. I just kept on going, especially with the Whirlwind. Now, the Rowling Cry, I got rid of the item that was giving me that, and I kind of should have not have done that, because Rowling Cry is a shout. So that would have given me 3 shouts to use, and those would have been, these items would have been used more efficiently, these 6 points. But I've been using the leap instead because I thought I needed to do a little bit more damage and get to the boss quicker. You know, that's just the loadout that I used. I want to be a support, heal, tank kind of thing. Let's just go to the gear. I just want to show you with the gear one thing that's kind of powerful. And this is what makes my whirlwind and leap kind of OP. If you see on this item, the lucky hit proc, damaging enemies with leap, upheaval, or whirlwind has up to a 42% chance to summon an ancient to perform the same skill. Can only happen every 5 seconds, and it happens a lot. So with the whirlwind, it's like double me. It's like there's a ancient that's right next to me doing the exactly same ability. It didn't proc all that much with the leap, but with whirlwind, it procs a lot. So if you can get this lucky hit on an item, and what's nice about it is you can extract that off this item and put it on another item if you want to replace the item, which is really nice. And then we've got, this is where I got the leap from. As you can see, these pants that I'm wearing. See the third ability, +1 ranked of leap, barbarian. Oh, that's where I got the leap. That's why I'm able to use the leap, is from this item. And as you can see, I put maximum life. Then the next one, the lucky hit on this one is direct damage against bleeding enemies, has a 21% chance to stun them for 2 seconds. I don't know if it just was on the item when I put it on. This one here, enemies damaged by kick or charge will explode if they are killed within the next 2 seconds, dealing. Yeah, I don't use kick or charge. It just happens to be on this imprinted. As you can see, it says imprinted. I actually removed, like I was saying here, I was able to remove a skill off one item, and then I was able to imprint it on this necklace. And this imprint, distant enemies have an 8% chance to be stunned for 2 seconds when you are hit. You deal 48% increased damage to stun enemies. That's kind of OP, especially if archers are shooting at me. I know it's only 8%, but they'll stop shooting at me if they get stunned, right? And then this, did I go over this one? Damaging an enemy with a core skill has up to a 30% chance to extend the duration of berserking. Well, I couldn't get into berserking yet because I don't have the points to do that. But if I get into berserking and I can use the berserk skill, then when damaging enemies with my core skill, I think when we talk about this core skill, I believe they're talking about this skill here, flay. Maybe that's considered basic. Maybe this is this. Okay, so the whirlwind is the core. So anytime I would use the whirlwind, is what they're saying here. Anytime I use the whirlwind, that's when that would work for the core skill. That's here. Damaging enemy with your core skill. So anytime I would whirlwind, I had a 30% chance to extend berserking. But there is a shout, one of my shouts, it gives me berserking for 4 seconds. I don't know if those kind of overlap or not. I just know I do have a berserking skill that I can get into at the next node. But overall, I'm just going to button up the video. Overall, it went smooth. It was fun. I had a good time again. I definitely recommend getting the game if you have the money to afford it. I mean, I know it's an expensive game, but I think you're going to get a lot of fun, especially if you like this kind of style of game. You know, the top-down, moving around with your mouse, triggering abilities, you know, simple abilities using the 1, 2, and 3 command. It's not, you know, for me, it's not that complex to play this game. There's a lot of games I can't play because of, I had a motorcycle accident where I got some brain damage and I have problems with the communication between my brain and my left hand. This game seems to be fine because I don't have to move my hand around all that much, so I can just plant it on 1, 2, and 3, and occasionally hit the Q button, so it works for me. So even with the handicap that I have, I can play this game. So it seems to be well thought out of too. I mean, the cutscenes are amazing, the graphics are amazing, the storyline seems pretty slick. I would definitely recommend it. All right. Oh, I should point out I did join a guild here. Let me see here. Let me see if okay, it's N. So you hit the N button and you can bring up the guild interface. Now, obviously, this will all go away once the server closes in a couple hours. So they'll have to recreate this clan again when the game comes out on 6/6. But they have a Discord link, so I'm on their Discord, so I'll be able to keep in contact with them while the game is not up, and we can still communicate before the actual game comes out. They have a few players here. They got a pretty good list of people that have joined. And how it works is you go to the clan link, the N link, and then they got 32 out of 47 people, it looks like. So you go to there and you just ask for requests to get into a guild. And this guild was small when I applied for it. I like joining smaller guilds and help building them. This way you're just not a number. And so I joined this guild and I've been very happy. I've been playing. I played with more people from this guild than I've played with anyone else during the 3 beta tests that I've done. So it's been a good time. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. And this has been the Tarkus Zone.